I always think it's cool when sometimes the freestyle slash like the song they perform live is better than the studio version.
Bro,
So for me,
yes.
like
Yes.
Dochi did Stressed on the Color Show and is one of my favorite
Okay.
things ever. I'll download like the Conway, someone like illegally put it up on Apple Music. So like I'll just
Yeah.
listen to that regularly. And I mean, you guys have had that method of
course.
posting the actual freestyles. I'm curious on that, how it actually like business wise actually gets handled to getting out.
Ooh, okay. I'm down to talk about that. Yeah.
And like the inspiration to do that, because I know
Yeah.
us Tiny Desk fans get mad because you're like, put the Anderson .Paak Tiny Desk on Apple Music. I
Yeah.
want to be able to just listen to Suede perform live
Yeah.
casually. What went into you deciding to do that, and how actual difficult is it to clear?
Well, I mean, so we started like, honestly, the whole idea to put out music came from like 2 years ago. Like, I ain't gonna lie, we've gone through like a lot of financial hardships with OTR. I think that's the one thing that people don't realize about doing stuff like this is like how much money you spend, right?
Yeah.
And as like a platform that really is like we just invite people to come do OTR, right? So like it's not like we're making like we do 8 artists a day, 8 artists in a day. Like honestly,
That's
like
crazy.
it's all invite only,
Yeah.
right? And like for any people who say I'm lying, like I can show all my emails
Yeah.
and like what I'm saying, like we have everything on email and in Slack now, right? And so like
How many A&Rs do you have?
everybody on the team is an A&R. Everybody who has a different job on the team, like
How big's the team? 'Cause that's like
it's about like 10 people now, right? 10 plus people. Like 10 to 15 people, yeah. But like
That's
even the
crazy.
people who just do administrative work do A&R stuff.
Yeah.
Like they'll just send people. Like we have like this is for all the people who think that I'd be lying too. Let me just do this real quick and then we'll talk about the business, right? Because I'm gonna do this on every pod, right?
No,
so
talk
so
your
look,
shit.
so look, this is you see this, right?
Yeah.
It's a Slack channel, right?
Yes.
Right? Because we both work in corporate at some point,
Yeah.
right? So this is a Slack channel, right? For
There is.
anybody who doesn't know what a Slack channel is,
what it
Slack
looks
is
like.
Slack is like a app / platform
Yeah.
that people use to in business for different
Yeah,
reasons.
it's kind of like Discord, but for business.
Discord for business. I used it at iHeartRadio when I first started there,
Yeah.
right? As a digital content manager. So right here it says artist scheduling, right? So in here, right, for all the people who want to see, this is actually all of us just dumping artists into a chat, right? So it's like, Calvin said from Pay Gotti's management team, because they got a new artist that they wanted us to check out. Aiden said, I'm not gonna say that one because he's kind of dissing somebody in that one. He said from North Carolina, Sud's new artist down to put the music out with us. Everybody's hitting me about this person. He hard, real R&B. A lot of people mess with him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then from this person's management, Pop low key huge. Bieber just posted him last week.
Yeah.
So like you see like the actual A&R work going in, right?
I see the proof.
Yes, you see the proof, right? So like that's really kind of what we do. And then to answer your question about like the streaming stuff, so it started 2 years ago, and we were kind of going. We had the new studio. We were dealing with like a lot of issues on YouTube in terms of ad revenue, right?
Okay.
So we weren't with Create Music at the time, who's helping us kind of like solve our copyright issues and collect revenue from other places on YouTube that are reposting our videos. We were dealing with like a lot of yellow dollar signs on YouTube, which for people who know, like you're cooked. Like you're not getting any revenue from those videos anymore. We didn't figure out the method on how to get rid of some of those. So my partner Devon, who works on the team, who is also like a very well established artist himself, was like, "Hey, we should start putting out the records. Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, we had like all these legendary OTR freestyles. We haven't put any of them out. Da 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 da." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I promise you, Gabe." He's like, "You're not gonna see the return right now, but in like 3 years you'll understand, right?" And I think we're almost 3 years in, and I understand. And so we started putting out music, and so. Like he said, like we didn't get a lot of streams at first, right? But obviously now I think we're like well over like 100-something million streams.
Yeah,
And
I saw this, it was over 180, over 6 million, 64 million.
that was just this year. Yeah, that was just this year, which is we have like 1.6 million on monthlies on Spotify. But to your point, like so how the business works for that is like so John could obviously speak more to it than I can because that's literally his job to know all that. But obviously, I'm educated enough to talk about it as well. So what we do is we do splits with the artist, ourselves, and the producer.
Fire.
On the master. Actually, we actually give the producer more points than like most artists do, right? So we actually the producers, when you produce an on the radar freestyle, unless the artist is like, and they have a negotiation or they got whatever they got going on their side. The producer gets really taken care of with our splits. And then we do publishing and all that as well. But we kind of really got like this. We kind of got this blueprint from, of course, bro who works on my team, but also like Colors. Like, we recently like became friends with them, and my John had met them when he was in Cannes for something and whatnot, and they become like a really big help and kind of like giving us like, I want to say like, then you're not gonna give away all the sauce, right?
Yeah.
But like they've been like really dope in like being a guiding hand, to, kind of giving us like, a little bit of a blueprint of like what we want to do and how we want to do it without copying them. Because obviously I never want to copy anybody. I always want us to be inspired by somebody, but not copy. So we have like 2 different ways that we go about it. Either we put out like a live version of a song that's out already, kind of like similar to Colors, or we'll put out like an unreleased song, which will be like their On the Radar freestyle. Or in certain cases, we'll partner up with labels and we'll put out like just the song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, shout out 10K. Like 10K, we put out a bunch of records with them this past year, including a couple Latin records, which we're super proud of. And we really appreciate like labels who are willing to work with us and do things like that.
I mean, smart for them too. I would understand why more of them wouldn't, because like sometimes the freestyle just sounds different. There's a different vibe to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it clicks more.
That's
for
if
the
it's
person.
live, because sometimes they lip sync it too. Like that's also the problem with kind of being lenient with everybody's, because you want them to have the freedom to express themselves. But I ain't gonna lie, like it hits both ways. Sometimes like the lip sync will hit harder than the live. Sometimes vice versa. But I do like the live better. Obviously, we're hip hop heads, so we like the live better. But yeah, like that's kind of been like the real nature of it. And also we've done it with a lot of smaller artists as well to kind of get them some more streams and into our ecosystem, because our ecosystem is worldwide. Like you mentioned, all the countries and whatnot who listen to On the Radar. So it kind of benefits both people. Like I always want to make sure that what we do doesn't just benefit us, but benefits everybody. Yeah. So, and also like, in business, you still have to make it worth your while at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think like, well, not I think, but like how we kind of run things now is like I would say the majority of the artists who come through to OTR now, we're putting the music out with them.
Yeah.
Like we're releasing like almost a project a week of music.
Really?
Which is sick. And like
That's crazy.
Some people be like, well, you're doing too much. Well, this is a lot. But like the goal isn't like us creating like think about it. It's 12 artists with 12 different fan bases that are all releasing that has our name next to it.
And you have such a crazy like genre and niches like of artists.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a bunch of like one type artists.
Boom. So you're creating a spider web.
Yeah.
I look at On the Radar as a spider web. You know what I'm saying? Everything connects to each other, right? The Latin stuff connects to the Brazilian stuff. The Brazilian stuff connects to the UK stuff. The UK stuff connects to the German stuff. German to French, back to all to America. But it's just one big spider web that you just get lost in.
Yeah.
So putting out this many records with this many different artists is benefiting us. It's benefiting them.
Yeah.
Because everybody can just go into there, discover some other people. Like, think how many times you put on a song. It happened to me today. You put on a song on like a playlist, or you go to somebody like top songs, you click on it, and then you forget to put on another song, and then something else starts playing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, I kind of like this song now. So that's obviously happened a lot with us. And I think that by doing this, we're just working on that ecosystem that I told you about. Like, I just like creating that. I like being able to create this ecosystem that really helps out a lot of people. And we've been able to do that with our live session series, which is like, your boy Nick Moody's coming to do this weekend, which is just like kind of like the Mafia-thon format, but just at OTR. And then we give them like 5 different beats. And then what we'll do is like we'll put it out as a whole EP. It's 12 songs, And like
it's genius. I as a fan, I was always annoyed. Like I want this on streaming.
Yeah. Well, now you can. Whatever it is. Yeah. Now you can. The majority of what we do now will be on streaming.
Yeah.
Christmas Cypher, put it on streaming 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
Had a great boost of streams during Christmas. So yeah, man, it's been really good being able to put all this music out with people and kind of figuring out. Also, like I've been learning so much about the business and how people snake people in the business. Mm-hmm. And I never wanted to do that. I always want things to be like a fair playing field. Like I want people to come back to us because they trust us.
Yeah.
And I value relationships more than anything. So yeah.